And tonight on our Great American panel, he is a Democratic strategist who has worked with New York Senator Chuck Schumer. Chris Hahn is here. Hi, Chris.
Good.
She is a radio talk show host. Mary Walter joins us. Hi, Mary. And he is the senior editor of the Daily Caller. Jamie Weinstein also joins us. Jamie, great to see you guys.
Great to be here.
All right, let's start with Bubba, because Bubba is apparently back in the news.
That's President Bubba to you.
Yes,
please.
Our 42nd president and national treasure has made some comments this week, sizing up the GOP field. Roll it.
I think he's quite an impressive man. He's refreshingly kind of unhidebound, comes across as non-ideological, conservative, but non-ideological, practical. Governor Romney's doing a better job as a candidate this time than he did 4 years ago. Comes across as more relaxed and more convicted about what he did do, less willing to just be forced into apologizing for it. I'm not surprised by how well Michelle Bachmann's done. I've been watching her speak. She comes across as a real person. All those foster children she's taken in and children she's raised.
Bill Clinton totally in his element, talking presidential politics, right? Chris Hahn, do you think it's appropriate, though, for a former president of the other party to be chiming in on the GOP field this early?
Well, I think what he said was all very positive. I don't think you're going to see President Clinton, until the heat of the campaign at the end, if needed, come in any real hyper-partisan way. I think he's trying, as people say, to be an elder statesman. I think everything he said about Huntsman and Romney is true. They are running very good campaigns, and I think Bachmann is surprising a lot of people, especially Sarah Palin, who, I think Bachmann's kind of replacing as the conservative female voice in America, because she's clearly better prepared to speak on a lot of topics than Sarah is and has more experience in government.
Jamie, do you think when he said that he was more impressed by Mitt Romney this time, do you think that's really an authentic kind of admiration for the candidate this time around?
Well, I think there's no question what he gave was actually a pretty incisive look at the field right now. Mitt Romney is certainly the front runner. The ads that he's running certainly are putting him against Obama, not against the primary field. So I think he was right on there. I think with Huntsman, he's actually just paying back a compliment that Huntsman wrote to him in a letter that actually we at the Daily Caller uncovered, praising Bill Clinton as being this smart and great leader. So it was just a little payback.
Huntsman, I think a lot of Democrats are going to like Huntsman. A lot of independents are going to like Huntsman's like the one guy in the field that really worries us as Democrats.
And that's why conservatives don't necessarily
It's funny how that works that way.
Mary, his comments about Michelle Bachmann, very interesting to me, because Bill Clinton is a very visceral politician. And I think what he's picking up from Michelle Bachmann is that she's got an emotional bond with the voters.
Yeah, and we've got that Tea Party element that love her. And I actually agree with you. I think he's really playing the elder statesman here. And he's actually coming off as very, very credible and very respectful. And I give him a lot of credit for it. And I don't know if he's necessarily going to get more partisan as time goes on. And I really give him a lot of credit for what he said about Michelle Bachmann, because the media is just, they're not going to give her a fair shot. They're just going to rip her to shreds.
If Bachmann could figure out the difference between John Wayne and John Wayne Gacy, she has a legitimate shot of winning Iowa.
Oh,
she is a true conservative, and conservative voters are going to like her. But we as liberals and Democrats and progressives, we won't ever like her. Independents will never vote for her.
Will you like her when she visits all 57 states?
I don't think Michelle Bachmann has a chance in the world of being president of the United States. But she does have a chance to be nominated.
But note what Bill Clinton said. He didn't praise her policies. He praised it's the politician in him. He's praising the story. He knows that Americans like a great story. And this is what she has. She had 23 foster kids. It's an amazing story. And he's noting that, and it's undeniable.
And the problem in American politics today is that we're more attracted to the story than actually finding solutions to solve the problems in this country.
Wait a minute, Chris.
I
think what Bill Clinton is actually picking up on is the fact that Michelle Bachmann has a real authenticity to her, and that's what voters are responding to. And remember that Michelle Bachmann is championing constitutionally limited government, fiscal responsibility, and free markets. Now, Hahn, you guys on the left might think that those principles are wacky, but frankly, that's what the Founding Fathers intended, and that's where most Americans are.
The Founding Fathers created a Constitution that was a living, breathing document. It wasn't supposed to die in the 1780s. It's supposed to evolve over time with case law and amendments. We've had case law, amendments, and the Constitution being interpreted by the Supreme Court and by Congress creating new laws within the framework of the Constitution.
Chris,
she does not believe that. She thinks we should go back to 1787 and live with that.
The majority of the American people are with Michelle Bachmann, and you saw the results in November 2010.
The majority of the American people believe that the Constitution should be followed.
Mary, go ahead.
No, but I think Monica's absolutely right. You're right. A majority of the American people people respond to what she's saying, and she's really hitting an emotional chord in the American people. So I guess you're saying that the American people don't know what they're talking about then, because they clearly don't understand the Constitution, according to you.
I think the American people vote in the moment, and I think they had a moment last year that was a conservative swing because they were not happy with the direction of the country because of the economy. It was not based on the policies, but the economy. We'll see what happens in a year and a half.
I just want to know what you have a problem with 1787 for. I think that was a pretty good year.
I think it was a great year, but if the Constitution stopped evolving in 1787, this country would have been gone a long time
ago. By the way, we're coming up on Independence Day weekend.
That's right.
Celebrating 1776. Jamie, last question to you on the subject. For whom do you think Bill Clinton votes next year, Obama or the Republican candidate? You never know. It's a close call.
Well, it depends how strategic he is. If he's plotting for Clinton to run, Hillary to run 4 years from now, maybe he votes for the Republican.
Well, Hillary could run 4 years from now either way.
And
so
this is why you never know what goes on in that Clinton voting booth. All right, guys, please stand by. Time to check. And we continue now with our great American panel. Welcome back, guys. Okay, so there are all these reports today that the Treasury Secretary, Tim Geithner, wants out of the administration. And when I saw those reports, I went, wait, he's still there? How did this guy hold on to his job for so long, Jamie?
I think he's close to the president. They're close in age. They've always said to have a bond. I think he's probably just tired. It's a tough job. It's time for him to go. It's going to be interesting who he's going to choose next. I think ideologically, Obama would like to choose the guy with the question marks who does the commercials, the free money guy. But politically, I think it would be wise for him to choose a businessman in the job, because he has none in the administration other than his new chief.
When I saw this on the agenda today, I made some calls. This is more of an idea than an actual plan for him to leave right now. I think he's just kind of talking off the top of his head when he said this afternoon. So, and like you said, these are difficult jobs. This is probably the most difficult job in Washington right now, given the state of the economy. And it's very difficult, and he's under a lot of pressure. He's got young kids, I think, or kids are still in school. I think it's, it's still too early to tell if he's going to actually leave before the end of the first term. I would bet he doesn't.
Mary, if he decides to go, he's going to join this long conga line of Obama economic advisors who have bailed off the sinking good ship Obama. We had Larry Summers, Christina Romer, Peter Orszag, and Austin Goolsbee, who's leaving next week or in a couple of other weeks.
And did you notice, and I think you made a good point, Jamie, they all went back to their academic jobs.
Right.
And he needs a business person in there, and I think it would be a really wise decision for him to get away from the academics, get away from the thinkers, and get into someone who's a doer. Maybe someone who pays his taxes would be a good idea.
Here's the thing.
Just to start.
To run the IRS.
To run the IRS.
You're asking way too much.
The American people don't care who the Treasury Secretary is.
Well, I think they care.
They care that they have jobs. They care that they have jobs. Most Americans, if you poll them, they probably don't even know who Tim Geithner is. So unless they read his name at the bottom of their dollar bills.
Oh, no, I think that's pretty insulting to the American people. I think they know who this Treasury
I think that the American people care that the economy gets moving in the right direction, and they want to see the president and Congress work to make that happen. The Treasury Secretary is an instrument of the president.
Considering how bad the economy is, I think Geithner hopes the American people don't know his name.
Well, under Treasury Secretary Geithner, he has overseen nearly $4 trillion added to the national debt, more than any Treasury Secretary in the history of the United States. That's embarrassing, and it's counterproductive and destructive.
On the other hand,
Congress approved that. Congress approved that debt, and it takes two to tango. There are Republicans in the Congress. They had
control the Congress.
They had a filibuster. They could have filibustered. There was Republican votes in all of those bills. So it does take two to tango, and of course. You're also counting TARP money that came in under the previous president, who was a Republican, that he demanded Congress pass.
Well, you know what? Something else that caught my eye today. The former Fed chairman, Alan Greenspan, said that the $2 trillion of QE1 and QE2 printing by the Fed had little to no effect on the economy. That is staggering. Those of us conservatives who were screaming about this before they decided to go down the road of QE1 and QE2, we were saying, don't print, stop spending. They did it anyway, and now look.
Yeah, I mean, the economy, look what President Obama said in 2009 when he passed the stimulus. He said the unemployment wouldn't go above 8%. It's now at 9.1. It reached 10. By his own metric, he has failed.
All right, let's switch gears, guys, because Mitt Romney, who is the front runner in the GOP field, he released a brand new ad, very tough against Obama and his dismal jobs record. Roll it.
Good to be back in Pennsylvania. I just came from Allentown Metal Works, where I had a chance to visit with workers there.
The Allentown Metal Works is set to close its doors on Friday. This was hailed as a symbol of hope by President Barack Obama last year when he promoted his jobs plan.
Wow, guys, that is such a powerful ad. And you know what? The Romney campaign went back and looked at the most powerful tagline that Margaret Thatcher used in her first campaign, which was, "Labor isn't working." And he's commandeered that. He's given the Thatcher campaign the full credit. But that is a very effective campaign when this is going to be all about jobs, jobs, jobs.
You know, and that ad is so effective because it is something that everyone can understand. You don't have to know who Tim Geithner is. You don't have to know about the debt ceiling. You don't have to know anything. All you have to know is that people are losing jobs. And I guarantee you, everyone in that area where that ad is running knows someone who lost a job.
Exactly. And Chris, so unlike in 2008, this time Obama has to run on a record, and it's about a dismal record.
Listen, it is an effective ad, but it's a misleading ad. It doesn't take into account that most of those jobs were lost in the first 6 months of his presidency. That said, as effective as this ad is, and as hard as he attacks Obama, it still doesn't get Romney past the South Carolina firewall to his nomination for the presidency.
Jamie?
I was actually born in Allentown. I can't speak to the job performance there, but it's effective because it plays to Romney's strength as a tremendous businessman versus Obama, who is never a businessman.
That's exactly right. And look, they've spent us into a Keynesian coma over the last 2.5 years, and now it's time to give free market, small government principles.
Well, the free market, small government principles let us down this road. It's how we got here, Monica.
All right,
you
guys.
know that. I know you know
to be continued. So great.
And listening to Alan Greenspan.
All right. The hook on. Coming up, Sean's interview on how we can reclaim America's faith and promise from the cultural elites. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.